What's up? What's up? It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son as your kinfolk. William Jewell, giving you my detail. Let's articulate. This is articulating. Rap, rap, rap. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? And already, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn all the notifications on so you can get all the new content when I post them. I just came here to give y'all the telescopic and microscopic from close up and far away of this hip hop, right? This hip hop ish. I ain't gonna curse early on, maybe later on in the broadcast. But man, I know I was a little bit long winded. I usually try to keep these episodes to 30. I know I was a little bit long winded last week, but you know, it is what it is. And sometimes when you get those thoughts off and you try to articulate as much as you can, you know, it can get like that. And, you know, it's a new week. It's a new week, and I mean, I feel like new music is coming out, right? It's in the springtime. It's getting close to summer. So I mean, we're getting past that first quarter, right? We're starting to exit out that first quarter, and more people are dropping, especially like artists that I like to hear. I spoke on the Slim Thug and Propane. I spoke on the Currency last week. You know, some people that are kind of overlooked, and of course, I enjoyed that Cardi. I still been jamming that Cardi, right? And a lot of my friends, or not even a lot of my friends, but a lot of the purists and traditionalists, or whatever they want to call themselves, the old heads, they look down upon me for doing so, and shit, it don't really bother me because they're out of, they're out of reach. They're out of the box, and not meaning the box as far as being entrapped, but they're just out of the loop. Just trying to find the right words to say it, and it's okay that I can understand and I can relate or resonate with, certain music. And I really pride myself on having those open ears because it's not always open to everything, right? But I feel like I knew what Cardi was doing on that album. And we got Money Man, we got Kevin Gates, right? You know what I'm saying? I feel like these are like street rappers, right? Kevin Gates is a lot more known, more popular than Money Man, because Kevin Gates has a personality, right? So I Am Him Too, it just released. My partner JJ was saying, like, check it out. He really liked it. And I mean, shit, to be honest, this was a Kevin Gates album that I actually enjoyed. And him and Money Man, they didn't spend a lot of time, uh, and they didn't put a lot of tracks on this album. And that was the one thing that I really liked about these releases that happened this week. It wasn't long, drawn out albums that was hard to get into. It was straight to the point, short and sweet, just kind of like I like it, pause. And I mean, Kevin Gates, we know what type of sound we gonna get from him. I feel like the same thing with Money Man. I don't want to lump them in because they two different artists with their two different, skill sets. But from the most part, we talking about street music. We talking about, slightly gangster, slightly trappish when it comes to the sounds, when it comes to the lyrical content, when it comes to the substance. So at the end of the day, you kind of gotta put them in the same category. Uh, but Kevin Gates is a lot more melodic, and he's actually great with his melodies. And on this album, it wasn't a whole bunch of melodies, but just more lyricism. Money Man, Insomnia, because I keep saying the Money Man album. I'm not even saying what the album was, but Insomnia. Uh, it was some lyrical ability on there as well. He was talking that talk, but that substance, that genre of that subgenre of hip hop, it is what it is, right? But the genre I love, the the No ID and Saba, from the private collection of No ID and Saba, or Saba and No ID. Like, that was the album that really needs to be discussed, right? So salute Kevin Gates, salute Money Man, but Saba, No ID, right? This was very refreshing, right? And this wasn't hard, right? Because it wasn't a lot of bass. It wasn't a lot of 808s. It wasn't a lot of energy, as you would say. It was a couple of tracks that kind of made you wake up a little bit, but it wasn't a whole lot of energy on this album. It was more melancholy, right? Cool, soothing, right? Kind of calm and collective. So from the private collection, and I liked it, right? I liked it because I've been wanting to hear from Saba from a long time, for a long time. And the last album was okay, but the album before that he did uh really, you know, really stood out to me, and he hasn't been able to eclipse the type of energy that he gave us on that same album. And to be honest, I don't think he was able to eclipse that same type of moment that he did on that album as well with this one. But I feel like this was a good follow up, right? This was a good follow up. And the album I'm talking about is Care for Me. So just want to make sure I throw that out. Care for Me. That album, I really love that album. And A Few Good Things was the next album after that, which was okay. Wasn't great, but it was a good music, right? It wasn't no trash music. And this one was good music too. No ID, storied, historic producer. He did 444 with Jay Z. So I mean, you kind of gotta give him credit. The production was solid, but the production wasn't great only because it kind of stayed within that melancholy form, cool, calm, collective, but just not enough range for me. Some moments was a little bit more energetic, but nothing over the top, and I mean nothing really, outside of the box to me. So the production was solid. I mean, sometimes when you do an album with a producer, a known producer, a producer that is known to be great, right? You expect a little bit more. So I feel like those expectations were kind of met in essence, but it wasn't. He didn't raise the bar, and he didn't like go beyond the standard of what I thought he would do. But I think it was a good look for Saba, right? Refreshing, like I said. The lyrics was there, right? The substance, it was all there. Saba gave us melodies. He gave us lyricism. He gave us substance. He gave us content. I mean, he talking shit. He really saying he's one of the best out there. So he's a little bit more braggadocious than I've known him to be. Um, and I really applaud him for, putting his pole in the ground and really staking his claim in hip hop. And it was just authentic because it wasn't street, it wasn't trap. He's from Chicago. He always talks about his friends, either dying, going to jail, or just coming to a state of consciousness. And I believe he was conscious on this album. I believe he was backpackish. He was, all the elements of a positive hip hop artist that you could think of. And that's what Saba delivered. It really is nothing to really just dig deep into. The originality was there, the creativity was there, right? Risk taking, I guess so, right? It was alternative, but I don't think he just stepped outside of his comfort zone. I don't think he stepped out of his boundaries that we've already known from him. So I don't think you would call it risk taking. I think this was more so Saba style, similar to what Smino did with his album. Like, they're always been outside the box. So if they're doing something that's similar to the previous content, I don't consider it a risk take anymore. So it wasn't risky business. And I mean, it was a good album. It was a good album. Very lo-fi. So I mean, hard to listen to if you really need energy as far as the gym goes, but it'll be a cool listening if you just ride in the car, just want something to jam to, just, you know what I'm saying, going through your everyday life, just want something in the background, and you can catch some lyrics now and then. So uh I put this album like at a 7. I put this album at a 7 because Like I said, it was a good music, good production, great lyricism, content, originality, creativity. But as far as the risk taking, it wasn't there. Nothing outside the boundaries. Nothing too energetic. The range of this album was, very very short range. It wasn't high. It wasn't low. It stayed within its normal like BPM, as DJ Head would say. So salute to Saba, salute to No ID, right? And man, prayers for the city of Dallas. Prayers for the city of Dallas, man, because I hate to come in here and talk about this. I hate to come in here and talk about this because I feel like I'm the one fan like of Yella Beezy and Mo3. I'm the one true fan of them both equally. I love them both equally. And when Mo3 died, I could not listen to him for a whole year. Why? Because I felt like everything that he did on the internet is the reason why he got killed. And when he got killed, he just took away like my listening experience from me. And I hate to be selfish about this. Mo3 took away, that pain music from me that got me through so many times, and I just needed to hear more from him. His time was not ready yet, and just all the antics that was going on in the internet, it kind of sped it all up. And I was mad at him because damn, I need this Mo3. I need to listen to this pain music. Take me to church. Preach. Everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't your partner. Like, I needed Mo3. And it had a trickle down effect on Yella Beezy. Right? And come to think about Yella Beezy being locked up for capital murder, it all makes sense. It all makes sense because Yella Beezy did not want to do that, right? Yella Beezy did not want everything to come to that. He tried to stay out the way. He tried to stay out of trouble. He tried to stay away from the violence. He wasn't trying to participate in that ignorance and in that foolishness. I don't care what you say. I don't care. Like Yella Beezy, he did what he had to do, said what he had to say to kind of deflect and try to stay on top of things. But Yella Beezy wasn't trying to do all that, right? He was just trying to make music. He wasn't trying to be on no gangster shit. He wasn't really trying to do that. Was he about that? I mean, obviously, based on these capital murder for hire charges, obviously he was about that gangster shit, but somebody pushed him to the ledge. They talking about it's about Roy Lee Pate. It's not about Roy Lee. It's about Mo3 getting mad because they left him off a fucking song. And then everything after that trickled down. It's a picture floating around saying, oh, be careful who your friends are. What you mean? Yella Beezy always had love for Mo3. Trap Boy always had love for Mo3. They continuously said this. It was Mo3 that took it there with them. You don't remember 219? When Mo3 was talking about a rapper getting shot? Yella Beezy getting shot on the tollway in Dallas. I don't remember when he had to go to the hospital. He got shot damn near 7 times. Like, what do y'all not get? And he's in the streets. He's rapping. He's of this hip-hop culture. You're told that you cannot tell. And he couldn't tell that he knew somebody had something to do with it. He knew it. And so he got his lick back the only way he knew how to get his lick back. Through the streets. through the streets, through this fucking culture. It saddens me. It upsets me. Because Yella Beezy was never the same after that. That's on me. And even the mixtape after that's on me. I really love from Yella Beezy, but I could tell like this was disturbing his spirit because in his music, that's what I did. That's what I did. Yeah. After after he got shot, his music wasn't the same, and he was trying to make a comeback. He was trying to release some good music, and he had a couple hits here and there. But if you take into account the Mo3 murder, and if Ella Beezy actually has something to do with it, and that stuff sitting on his mind because he never was truly trying to be about that, but he had to be because of the industry he was in and trying to keep up face and his reputation. Like, I feel like that's the only way. So it's just, to me, it hurts because I feel like Yella Beezy was left with no choice. And I feel like what Mo3 did, and I'm not blaming Mo3. Uh, I'm not I'm not blaming him because at the end of the day, he's a product of his environment, and he did what he thought was how he could build his numbers, build his popularity, and build the buzz. Right? Although in doing that, you invite demons, you invite spirits, you invite negativity when you continue to conjure up these things in your lyrics and in the way you talk on the internet. You continue to conjure up these spirits, and they're gonna haunt you. And they've haunted him until his death. And the spirits have now are hunting Yella Beezy, and you see where he's at. So, I mean, that's all I got to say about that because I don't really want to say a lot about that. And I heard like people was calling Kendrick a hypocrite. I didn't have these down in my notes, but I feel like this was the only right thing to talk about. Cause I listen to a lot of podcasts, I listen to a lot of people speak on it. So I'm just gonna give my 2 cents about it. I heard people was calling Kendrick a hypocrite for getting on a song with Playboy Cardi after he was pretty much getting on Drake about not being morally sound. I mean, and at the end of the day, like, it's all rap shit. Like, it's all rap shit. So, uh, you know, I feel like Kendrick as a man, and I mean, I don't know Kendrick as a man, but as a rapper, we always known he's shown duality within his music. He's shown the version of him being righteous, the version of him being spiritual, the version of him being morally sound and disciplined, right? And he's talked about some of his transgressions. He's talked about some of his shortcomings. He's been very vulnerable with us over the past years about, life in Compton and some of the evils that he dealt with and some of the damage that he done to the community while he was coming up. He's been vocal about it the whole time through his music and through some of the interviews. So I mean, I get it, right? It's like with the preacher, right? When you see a preacher, you see somebody behind that pulpit, and when you see a preacher in the streets talking to the criminals or talking to the guys filled with sin, we start to see that preacher in a certain light, right? We don't trust that preacher. We look at him as a hypocrite, but Jesus, right? He didn't care about the 99 lambs that was already following him in the herd. He cared about that one lamb, that one sheep that got lost. He cared about the missing sheep, right? He wasn't trying to, and I'm not trying to compare him to Jesus, but right, from a spiritual aspect, it's not about, touching the people. You can't coach the all stars. If you're coaching the all stars, are you really coaching? No, you got to coach the people that have potential. You got to coach the people that are, you know, needing to be coached for them to grow, for them to get to all star level. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you're if you're coaching an all star team or Team USA, to me that's not indicative of how great of a coach you are. How great of a coach you are is how good you can make a bad team, or how good you can make a bad player. And I'm not saying that Playboy Cardi is a bad player, but I'm saying for Kendrick to reach back, to the youth and to the people, underneath him, or uh pretty much not like him from a moral standpoint, and still find a way to do music with him. I feel like that's his job as the placeholder, as king of hip hop, to uplift them, to just pretty much shine a light on their music, and while shining a light on the music, give it another message, because we got to think about that last part of his verse on Good Credit, right? His skin is smoother, his teeth is brighter, his teeth is whiter, his thoughts are brighter. The hate getting realer, the love getting faker. But when you like me, when you at the top, that's how you should like it. Like, this is what comes with the crown. Yeah, Cole and Aubrey know I'm a selfish. The crown is heavy. Like, the crown is heavy because people are looking at him for these type of views, these type of uh songs to make, so the culture can move forward. People are not looking at Drake or even Cole to push the culture forward in essence of morality and in essence of positivity. They looking for Kendrick. And to be honest, Cole can rap, but if you don't have the responsibility of being someone that's going to uplift the community, then the weight that you carrying when it comes to lyricism is a lot lighter. Drake can rap, but Drake, he just wants to make music for the club. He just wants to make music to make the girls dance. What type of responsibility is that? How hard is that to do? Right? That's not hard, because that's a part of the sinful nature of men. But to be disciplined and to turn away from your sinful nature, and then give people something of ilk, of meaning, of value, of substance, then still try to reach to the crowd that aren't there yet, or may not get there, but still try to touch them in a way to let them know you understand what they're going through and what their situation is in life. To me, that's a heavier responsibility. So, I mean, you could be called a hypocrite. It is what it is. We gonna still jam that Playboy Cardi though. Old heads or not. And I want to hear that Erica Badu. Erica Badu and Alchemist. I want to hear that. I'm very intrigued in that. Like, I love Erica. Dallas native. Plus 50, but she looks 30. She looks very young. She looks very youthful. Her spirit is youthful. Her spirit is very intoxicating. As far as if you get caught up in it, you could get drunk. And just who she is, and her soul, because she just has that type of influence, in that realm to me. Same way like Mary J. Blige. I feel like Mary J. Blige can cut deep. She can really get to the meat and gravy. She can get to your soul. And Erica Badu, she can get to your soul too, but a different side of your soul. You know what I'm saying? The more light, the more energetic, the more, you know, spontaneous part of your soul that can go with the flow and be like water and be, formless and just stream into different waves of consciousness. And with the Alchemist on the production, I, he's the best producer in the game right now to me. I don't mind saying that. I think Metro Boomin is probably right there too. And then of course my boy Hit Boy. I think those are the top three producers in the game right now. And just if she has Alchemist at her disposal, I just believe this is something that's gonna be angelic and heaven sent from Erica Badu. And then I guess we gotta get to Drake and UMG, right? Because it seems like people don't really want to talk about this shit no more. I feel like people getting tired of talking about Drake and the UMG lawsuit. And pretty much UMG is reiterating the same thing that everybody has been saying. Talk about, tell him to talk about young girls. He said on Taylor Made Freestyle in the Pac voice, talk about him liking young girls. I heard it from the Button podcast. It must be true. He instructed Kendrick to talk about him liking young girls. There's evidence of him talking to young girls. He's been beefing with people throughout rap throughout his career, and he's been able to use the same record label to distribute that music. Drake is the true hypocrite. And so, I mean, UMG kind of crashed out about it. And I think, like, are you on the big business side or are you on the artist side? I think we picked the artist side, but when it comes to this type of argument, this type of case, I think the roles get reversed because the president that this cassette with music and lyrics and stuff like that going forward. I want to give credit to Screwface John, Screwface Gene. I listen to his channel. And he's always big on being able for rappers to rap like they want to rap. But if Drake wins this case, now everybody can go to the courts and say, he said this, she said this, I want to sue. And this just sets a bad precedence for artistry and music. And because, and we talk about the Young Thug case, we talk about the Dirt case, we talk about Mo3 lyrics. Like all the things that they said and these things being used against them in court, like they shouldn't be able to be because this is just a form of artistic expression. Like we don't know if it's true or not. Like if somebody writes a movie about a murderer, we can't say the writer is a killer because he wrote a movie about somebody being killed. That's just a form of artistic expression going to a deep realm and figuring out like how to make a plot, how to create a conclusion, a climax, and an introduction of the story. That's what we're doing in hip hop. We're doing the same thing. An artist paint somebody getting stabbed. Is that because they're a stabber? They like knives? No, it's an artistic expression of what they're feeling and what's coming across their mind and spirit. Like it's not about them trying to sabotage anything or it's just it's too much. It's too much, Drake, and I feel like that's why the people don't like it. But I mean, I just hope this court case gets thrown out. I hope it gets dismissed so we can quit talking about it, so Drake can quit having this cloud hanging on his head and he can just move on to the lyrics because it's hard to enjoy Drake's lyrics. But it's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son. It's your kinfolk, William Jewell, L, giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulate.